Der heilige Baal Shem hat amul gesucht. Kriegt von Aid mit dem Mahal, schon spät im Minche. Dus kriegt allein, spalt alle Himmel. Bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche? Bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche? Bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche? Oi Minche. Bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche? Bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche? Bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche? Oi Minche. Man jede gedenk, de Zeit ist in Seier heim, de Bäuer steht im Wald, de Teuer ist noch nicht verspart, nein mein Kind, kim davenen Minche. Man jede gedenk, de Zeit ist in Seier heim, de Bäuer steht im Wald, de Teuer ist noch nicht verspart, nein mein Kind, kim davenen Minche. Davenen Minche, bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche, bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche, oi Minche. Bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche, bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche, bis wie lang kann man davenen Minche, oi Minche. Man jede gedenk, die Zeit ist in Seier häng, de Bäuer steht im Wald, de Teuer ist noch nicht verspart, nein mein Kind, kim davenen Minche. Man jede gedenk, de Zeit ist in Seier häng, de Bäuer Yitzchok Lusiach Basude Vayayitza Yitzchok Lusiach Basude Vayayitza Schon spät im Vayayitza Yitzchok Lusiach Basude Vayayitza Yitzchok Lusiach Basude Vayayitza Kim daven ne
ריבונו של עולם, אני יודע שבית המקדש השלישי אינו בנוי מעבונים, הוא בנוי מדמויס. ריבונו של עולם, אני יודע שבית המקדש השלישי אינו בנוי מעבונים, הוא בנוי מדמויס. ועם כל מה שאתה צריך רק קודם אחז, ועם כל מה שאתה צריך רק קודם אחז. בבקשה ככה שלי, בבקשה ככה שלי, ריבונו של עולם, ככה שלי. בבקשה ככה שלי, בבקשה ככה שלי, ריבונו של עולם, ככה שלי. ריבונו של עולם, אני יודע שבית המקדש השלישי אינו בנוי מעבונים, הוא בנוי מדמויס. אוי ריבונו של עולם, אני יודע שבית המקדש השלישי אינו בנוי מעבונים, ובנוי אוי מדרויס ועם כל מה שאתה צריך רק מוידים בו אחת
We are saying goodbye to Shabbat and we are welcoming the Holy of Shavuot, which is one of the most wonderful and unnatural holidays. Keep going with that rhythm. So great. One of the most unnatural holidays in our tradition. Why? Because in Hawaii, did I say Hawaii?
I think you said Hawaii.
I don't know why it came to my mind. But in Shavuot, I don't know why that happens.
We know where your mind is.
I don't know. Maybe I need a vacation, but maybe in Hawaii. But so the beauty of Shavuot is that we do something that is quite unnatural. Think about taking care of your trees and reaping finally your first fruits. Instead of eating them, you put them in a basket and you say, these fruits are an offering. They're an offering of my gratitude. We were talking yesterday about ownership, how from a very early age we just try to take property of things. And in this case, in Shavuot we say, we first want to share. We shift our priorities. And that's the beauty of this fantastic holiday that we are going to welcome together. And we say, Saleinu al ktefeinu, Rosheinu al Turim. We have our baskets in our shoulders and we are bringing our fruits. We think about not only what we are taking from our trees, but we think about the offerings and the beauty that we can bring to our community. Saleinu al ktefeinu, Rosheinu al Turim. מקצות הארץ בנו הבאנו ביקורים מיהודה ועד שומרון מן העמק והגליל באנו דרך לנו ביקורים הצענו אך בטוב וכלה וחליל אך בטוב וכלה וחליל סלנו in order to bring this holiday in, we are going to commence our service with We'll commence our holiday with Havdalah to distinguish between Kaddish and Kodesh, between two sacred occasions, Shabbat and the holiday of Shavuot. You can find Havdalah. Rabbi Daniel would like to invite you. Do you have a microphone with you? You need one. So we invite Rabbi Daniel to join us, who is in the search for a microphone. Did you find it? Now you are a whole person. Just use one. Havdalah is on page 610, and as we do Havdalah, we will also invite you to rise, as we will do also the Kiddush for holiday. The Kiddush is on page 386. Havdalah is on page 610. We'll start with Kiddush for holiday, page 386.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chavanu mikol olam v'romamanu mikol lashon v'kiddushanu b'mitzvotav. ותיתן לנו עיני אלוהינו באהבה מועדים לשמחה חגים וזמנים לששון את יום חג השבועות הזה זמן מתן תורתנו מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ומועדי קדשך ושמחה וששון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל בהזמנים
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא מאורי האש.
Yai, dai, da, 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 dai, dai, dai.
Ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la,
Lai.
ya la 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 la, ya la ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la, ya la la ya la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei haesh borei meorei haesh lai ya la 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 lai lai ya la 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 lai ya la la ya la la ya la la ya la la
Ay Eloheinu melech haolam המבדיל בין קודש לקודש
ולא לחושך
בין ישראל לעמים בין יום השביעי לששת ימי המעשה ברוך אתה אדוני המבדיל בין קודש לקודש לי לה 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 לי לה 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 לי לה 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 שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם
Chag Sameach, everyone. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
You may be seated. Page 389.
Now summer's prospect, the world ripening and growing softer, the promise of harvest fulfilled, the warming sun lies before us. Now the vision of Torah, the world at peace and growing gentler. the promise of goodness fulfilled. The loving heart lies open to the mind.
I invite you to please rise and turn your Machzorim to page 394 for Baruch Hu. Eloheinu melech haolam, please be seated. אשר יתברו מלא ברבים, בחוכמה פותח שרים ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשלותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzebaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ama'ariv Aravim, praise to you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Amen.
And as we get closer to the Shema, we think about your love. We think about
how do we find God? We find God revealed in the order, in the physical universe, in the compassion of the human heart, and in the guiding wisdom of Torah. Thank you.
I see. So as we get closer to the Shema, we might think about how we find God, but we also think about how to find our own souls. We think about the places from where we take love, the things that make us feel loved.
We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love.
Baruch atah, Adonai Ohev Amo Israel. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. We turn our Sidurim to page 400 for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We continue with Be'ahavta on page 402. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם נרות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת אמת במול הכל סוד וקיים עלינו כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו ואנחנו ישראל עמו. When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Who is like you, O God? Mi kamocha v'elim Adonai. We're on page 406.
Mi kamocha v'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi kamocha v'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nara tehilot oseh. משה ומרים, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים, לפני משה ומרים.
Say, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Goel Israel.
Amen.
We're on page 408. For the blessing that reminds us to seek for our inner peace, to to become creators of shelters within our hearts so we can extend our shelter for all those who need it. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom
והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך
I've been waiting for, I've been praying for my people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. We do no more. People will say one day. Shalom Aleinu ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people of Israel, and over the holy city, the city of Shalom, Yerushalayim. We'll now turn our Seorim to page 568, and we invite you to follow the evening lead for Tfilat Amidah, which is the Tfilat Amidah of Regalim, of holiday. Page 568, my friends.
468.
Sorry, 468. 468. Please rise. Adonai,
Adonai,
Sefatai Tifta,
Sefatai Tifta,
Ufi Yagid,
Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha.
Adonai, Sefatai Tifta,
Sefatai Tifta,
Ufi Yagid,
Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha.
Adonai,
Adonai,
open up my lips,
open up my lips,
that my mouth,
that my mouth
may declare your praise. תגיד בו, למה זה לא מכם איתי יותר? God guard my speech from evil and my lips from deception. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. So Shalom bim bromav. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us. We're at the bottom of page 492.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. הוא יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. הוא יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. הוא יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. הוא יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם.
Now we're still to page 494. אין כמוך.
אין כמוך באלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך, מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עושה לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
כי מציון
תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
Corresponding to the holidays of pilgrimage, the שלושה רגלים, we also add the 13 attributes of mercy that you can find on page 496.
אדוני, אדוני, רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד באמת, נושא חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטאה ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד באמת, נושא חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון בפשע וחטאה ונקה.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai iti, oneromema Shemo yachdav. Moshe קיבל תורה מסיני, ומסרה
ליהושע ויהושע לזקנים וזקנים לנביאים ונביאים מסרוה לאנשי כנסת הגדולה לדבר שונאים ומסרה ליהושע לזקנים וזקנים לנביאים ונביאים מסרוה לאנשי כנסת הגדולה הם אמרו שלושה דברים הבו מתונים בדין והעמידו תמידים הרבה ועשו סייג להתרה. משה קיבל תורה מסיני ומסרה ליהושע לזקנים וזקנים לנביאים ונביאים מסרוה לאנשי כנסת הגדולה. You may be seated, but not for too long, because I'm sorry, my friends, but it is the Holy of Shavuot, and it is our tradition to read the Ten Commandments. And guess what? We actually stand up when we read the Ten Commandments. I want to share with you a quick teaching. We spoke yesterday about this idea, not only yesterday, we have been speaking about this for thousands of years, but about this idea, like we started the conversation yesterday. Well, the beauty of our tradition is that the conversation, it's an ongoing thing for thousands of years. This idea that the Torah was given to us where? Mount Sinai. And Mount Sinai, is it the biggest mountain in the area? It's a small one. It's a very humble one, right? And who is your father?
Who do you think?
So, no. What can we do? So we spoke about this idea that Mount Sinai is not the biggest mountain in the area. It's actually a small one, a humble one. And also, in this Torah portion that we are reading, or we read this Shabbat, Parashat Bamidbar, we also hear that the Torah was given to us in the desert, so every single one of us can say, it's mine. But we also spoke about the fact that the desert is a hostile place. It's a difficult place. And we thought about this idea that sometimes we find ourselves in hostile places in our lives, in places in which we don't feel we can take in anything because we are too overwhelmed with the difficulties that we are dealing with. And this idea that Torah is given to us in that place of difficulty. Now, what did the children of Israel do when they got Torah for the first time? Were they were ready to take it?
No.
Not fully ready, right? It didn't work out so well. They were making a little golden calf, right? We spoke about that too here once or twice. They weren't fully ready, and a part of what we do in Shavuot, the Kabbalistic tradition of Shavuot, is to study Torah during the night in order to rectify the deeds of our people that wasn't ready at the time, even though we say that all of us were at Sinai. So we were at Sinai. Were all of us also at the moment of the golden calf? We don't put ourselves in that situation. We say, no, we were all of us at Sinai. Golden calf? No, that's someone else's problem. Like, it's someone else's mistake. Nothing to do with me. But there is an interesting connection between this moment of coming with the most beautiful gift and finding our people, finding ourselves not fully ready to receive that gift. It's embarrassing. It's quite embarrassing. Now, embarrassment is actually a good thing. Embarrassment. Have you felt embarrassed? Have you felt embarrassed ever? Now, we're talking about embarrassment, not about shame. Embarrassment is a power for rectification, for change, for adjustment. We first learned about the idea of embarrassment in the book of, who said Genesis? Genesis. In the context of Adam and Eve, Adam Bechava. Now, how do you say embarrassment in Hebrew? Hebrew speakers, come on. Abigail? להתבייש. יפה מאוד. You say busha. The word in Hebrew for embarrassment is busha. Bet, bav, shin, hey. Busha. Is there any word that share the same letters with the word busha? The word shuvah, return. Only when we feel embarrassment, only when we can acknowledge our mistakes, only when we recognize that we are in the desert and not particularly doing things right, only in that place is that we can take Torah to ourselves and say, I can return. I can move from here to somewhere. So with a little busha, with a little embarrassment, we receive Torah. We welcome Torah in our lives, understanding that that little embarrassment is also a power for motion, a power that will help us undertake whatever journeys we need to take. Chag Sameach. So, now, we have so many things to do. I'd like to invite Rachel White. Is Rachel White in the room? Well, you Rachel, come. Take a microphone. Yes, and Rabbi Daniel, come too. We're going to invite all the kids, all the Havaya kids that have been studying Torah this year, and teachers that have been teaching Torah this year, to come up to the Torah. We're going to do an aliyah together as we celebrate your study of Torah, your commitment to the study of Torah. You are, to some extent, our little,
It's probably Nico. That's this.
Do you have a microphone there? Yes. Good. We're going to. First, Rabbi Daniel, can you point to the reading so the kids can see from where you're reading? Kids, can you see where is he reading? So, okay, well, let's make some efforts. Come on. Stand behind. I'm going to take the time. Make sure it's the guitar there. You don't kill it. Come on, let's do somewhere here. Let's do that. Okay, I'll pick it for you.
Yeah?
Yeah. Go.
We're right here.
Okay, so you can join them to the blessing.
Baruch Hu et Adonai
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed. As we are reading the Ten Commandments, we invite everyone to rise in your legs, on your spirit.
Amen. וידבר אלוהים את כל הדברים האלה לאמור, אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך, אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים, לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי, לא תישא לך פסל וכל תמונה אשר בשמיים ממעל, ואשר בארץ מתחת, ואשר בשמיים מתחת לארץ, לא תשתחווה להם ולא תעבדם, כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אל קנה פוקד אבות על בנים על שלושם ועבירם לשנאי ועושה חסד לאלפים לאהבי ולשמורי מצוותיי.
ברוך אתה
אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני
נותן התורה.
I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a graven image, nor any manner of likeness of anything that is in heaven above, that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children of the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy upon the 1,000th generation of them that love me and keep my commandments.
Shar Koach. Rachel? I think that you want to give them, right?
Yes, okay, so the teachers of the Havayanol Pond students created special gifts for the children based on things that they did or learned this year. So actually, I know
Maybe
that,
seated. This
yeah,
time you
everybody
can
can be
sit.
seated, actually.
You can sit during this
So-
moment.
So we didn't bring it up because it was too much stuff at this moment in time. So what we'll do is I will have the teachers go grab their gifts
After the service.
after the service, and we will hand them out to the children during that time to symbolize a wonderful year spent together learning Torah.
תודה רבה. And now, kids, I need you to move, all of you, to my left side, here. לעלייה שנייה, יעמדו, רבי מרים ברוד, ערב קנטור, גבריאל בת, where's Gabriel? גרשונה אן, בת פייגל משה, and רב דניאל בן,
Moshe Daniel.
רב משה דניאל,
Ben Yoshua Heschel Halevi.
ישוע חשב הלוי, you need to go from the other side, my friends. Are professional Jews, and it's interesting when you are put in the spot. You know, are you ready? It's okay. Are you ready? Yeah. And we are calling you up to the Torah because you are teachers of Torah in our community, and we appreciate your work facilitating and bringing Torah to our people.
Baruch Hu et Adonai
ברוך
HaMevorach.
אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר ישמע את שמו לשווא. זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, 6 ימים תעבוד ועשית כל מלאכתך ביום השביעי שבה אדוני אלוהיך. לא תעשה כל מלאכה אתה בנך ובתך עבדך בהמתך ובהמתך וגרך אשר בשעריך, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם, וינח ביום השביעי. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו.
You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. The seventh day is a Sabbath unto the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any manner of work, you, your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant, your cattle, and your stranger that is within your gates. For in the 6 days that Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and mother, so that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gives you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
For the third Aliyah, we are going to invite our incoming president, but we'll call you in a second. Don't count yet, Mike. We'll make a point out of calling you. And we'll invite our outgoing directors and our incoming directors. So we're not going to call you by name, but we will ask you to introduce yourself once you are up here or down here. יעמוד מיכאל בן רחמיאל, הנשיא הבא של קהילתנו האהובה, ביחד איתו יעמדו ויבואו כל ה-directors, all the new directors of Temple Beth Tikvah, our קהילת קדושה, our sacred community. If you are a new director or an outgoing director, please join Ronnie and Mike. You can do the stairs also. Do you have the blessing here somewhere?
It's underneath on that side.
Underneath on this side.
Underneath.
Okay. It's okay. There. Show them. Baruch Adonai mevarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah natan lanu Torato. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. כבד את אביך ואת אמך למען ירון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. לא תרצח, לא תנף, לא תגנוב, לא תענה ברעך עד שקר, לא תחמוד בית רעך, לא תחמוד אשת רעך, ועבדו ואמתו ושורו וחמורו וכל אשר לרעך.
You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et hayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. We'll ask you to remain here for one moment. We have a few things to do. We need to install the board of directors. It's very interesting that we use the word installation for positions in the communal life. It's like you put something in a wall, right? But we don't want to be for you to be a piece of decoration, something that is stuck in a wall. We want you to be something very active in our community. I was having a conversation with one of you earlier today, and I said that I was going to bring a piece of that conversation into this moment. Many times we join the board of directors trying to find a connection not only to our communal life, but to our Jewish life. And I want to say that it's great, but not enough. Don't make your work activity the main channel for your Judaism. The work that you do activity should be an additional value to your Jewish life and your Jewish practice. No one can define what your Jewish practice needs to be. It's for you to define. It's for you to search a path. But make sure that during the time that you are in the board, that you find activities in which you want to participate, because that's where you develop your Jewish life. Commit to study, commit to prayer, commit to communal activities. Find additional legs for the table, for the organization that you are committed to build. Because then our foundations, if your foundations are stronger, the foundations of our community will be stronger. Holy One of blessing, bestow your blessing on these leaders who have been elected to serve our congregation. Now, please say what you're going to be doing. We can start by saying that Ronnie, you are going to be immediate past president.
Immediate past president.
We'll talk about you in a moment. You are not done. We are not done with you. And Mike?
President.
And come on, friends.
Sisterhood president.
And say your names.
Evelyn, Bell.
Sarah Najat Bina, and secretary.
Greg Weitzman, operations. Jerry Levine, facilities.
Terry Applebaum, education.
Gary Gruber, Tikkun alum.
Susan Schultz, religious practices.
Lila Pesner, I think it's executive vice president.
You are an executive, Lila. You are an executive. We just couldn't work out anymore the emeritus vice president of religious practices. So here you go.
Mitch Shapiro, executive vice president and president of Men's Club.
Dear God, instill in them with insight and understanding, perseverance as well as patience. Inspire them to work together in pursuit of our community's greatest aspirations, even as they watch over its daily needs. So remember, when you are working, when you, not screaming to each other, but when you feel very passionate about something in a board meeting, that our business here is sacred business. This is a sacred enterprise. And we are building a sacred community, not only when we come to the synagogue, but also when we are in the boardroom, or in the Zoom room. In every single conversation, in every single thing we do, we are building community. Oh God, we are thankful for the dedication and giving spirit that bringing these men and women before you, prepared to devote their energies to your service and to the benefit of us all. Grant success to their endeavors and help them to lead us in the pursuit of our sacred mission. And we say to you in this very special occasion, Yevarchechem Adonai, Ve'ishmerechem, may God bless you and protect you. Yer Adonai, Panav Elechem Bichunekem. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Is Adonai Panav Elechem Ve'asem Lachem Shalom. May you feel within you God's presence always, and may God bless you with wholeness, with integrity, and with peace. Amen. And you will repeat after me the blessing that we do at the beginning of our board meetings every month. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav betzivanu la'asok betzorchei atzivur, in the need that commanded us to be occupied, to be preoccupied, and to engage in the needs of the community. Congratulations, Bruchim Abayim, welcome, and thank you very much for your dedication. You can go and sit for a moment. Ronnie, stay here, please. Yes, stay here. Everybody else, you can leave. For how long do you want me to talk? You know, I don't know if many people know in which circumstances you became the president of this congregation. And I think that sometimes it's difficult to grasp the courage, the determination, and the investment, the emotional investment that you made in order to make TBT thrive. Presidents of congregations all over the United States resigned during the pandemic. You stepped in a week before the pandemic, in a week in which we had an unexpected presidential transition, a week in which our executive director was finishing his position at TBT. We didn't have a website, I always say, and the world became virtual. Right? Like, that week, you became the president of this congregation. And you navigated hundreds of difficulties, hundreds of challenges. You sat in your computer for how many hours a day?
Full-time.
TBT became certainly your full-time job. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. You were also learning the presidential job and also dealing with the most complicated things that presidents, congregational presidents have dealt with, I don't know, in the last 100 years, or for sure in the United States. And you did it. You were able to instill on us a culture of very professional work, but deeply rooted in our hearts, of kindness. You were a fantastic partner in creating a vision of, we want to see you, we want to care about you for our staff. And I think that our staff recognizes that a huge part of that comes from the leadership and from your approach. And you were able to offer support and love and leadership and insight and wisdom to this congregation in general, but to me personally, 100 times. We spoke in the phone every day, several times a day, and we tried together to fix our little world that was being challenged. And I think that during that time, our congregation felt the shelter of your love and your protection. So I want to give you a little gift on behalf of TBT, which is symbolic of that shelter that you spread over us. In our tradition, the talit is a symbol of love. It's, mitzvot, the tzitziot and the mitzvot are a symbol of divine love. So I think that we all felt sheltered by your love. And so we hope that as you take this talit with you in your journey, as you become immediate past president, you in turn will feel the love of this congregation and the gratitude that our community has for your work. Thank you. It's for you. You don't have to wait, but I do want to show you. I want to show you this talit.
Beautiful.
I hope you like it. I'm going to keep it for you here, and you say you have also a few words.
I do, except
We do have a microphone for you.
So, Rabbi took away the first paragraph of my speech, but that's okay.
We also used to do that, right? We used to make also speeches together.
So really what I want to do is just thank the board that worked with me. We had a great year. We accomplished a lot. And especially also the staff. Gabby, Rachel, I can't see because of the lights very well.
Evan is there.
Evan.
Rabbi Miriam is there. Rachel is there.
There she is. Thank you.
Am I missing anyone?
just the emails going back and forth and the
Ita,
phone
Esther.
calls, and I will miss my 8:30 a.m. telephone call from Rabbi Nico because and my cell phone is programmed to announce who it is. It's like, okay. But I want to especially thank him for his guidance because I needed it. I do have past experience in the secular world in leadership positions, even in when I worked at Hoag Hospital, I was the chair of the advisory board for clinical pastoral education, and I worked with rabbis and ministers and pastors, you name it. And so I didn't, and I also didn't come into this blind. My good friend Lauren Simon was preparing me. Cindy Jacobson has been an incredible help to me because she was our past president, as well as Henry Cohen and several others that I'm sure I'm forgetting, just like they do at the Oscars. But I also want to thank my family, and they're on Zoom tonight because they had to put up with me not always being available. But now I have a new grandson who was born on Mother's Day.
Congratulations.
Yes, and so the time that I am going to be giving up as president will be spent with Yanai, and he's a beautiful little boy, not even a month old yet. I'm not going away. My goal is, as past president, is to do a lot of HR work for the temple. It is needed. And my other goal is also to support Mike Bell, because as great as he will be, maybe I could show him, some of the ropes that I learned over the last couple of years. So thanking my family, the staff, Rabbi Nico, who I will miss forever. He did my children's wedding last fall, so he will always hold a special place for me in my heart and my brain. And then I have to tell you, it is so much fun to stand here in the sanctuary, because for the last 2 years, every single board meeting and so many other meetings were on Zoom. And I never got, to really be here side by side with you. So this is kind of exciting. It's fun. Michael, the best to you. And you can call me or anytime. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's yours. You're taking the gift. It's not just for show, it's actually you're taking it. Thank you. Mr. Bell. But we want to also share a few words with you, Mike. So a couple of years ago, we asked you if you wanted to be executive vice president, and you said, absolutely not. But there's a Talmudic concept that says, "Kofim alav ad sheyaskim," right? Like you push him until he agrees. It's actually for the sake of the Jewish people. Now, Mike, you are coming in a very interesting time for our community. There are two things that are going to be challenging, but I believe are going to be beautiful for TBT. One is the rabbinical transition. I'm leaving you with that gift, which is an opportunity to navigate new things and to explore and to arrive to new horizons. And also is the return of the pandemic. We have all lost some of our participation muscle. We need to reclaim congregational participation and presence. And that's going to be a very important challenge for this time. Now, a couple of years ago, you became in a deal that we made of having 3 executive vice presidents. you agreed to become executive vice president, and you started to take more and more and more leadership, and we also got to know you more and more, and to discover your wisdom, and you were a big part of helping us support our staff also during the pandemic, and explaining and repeating again and again what were our new regulations and how we were going to do things. And you seem to be, it looks like you never lose your patience. Is that right, Evelyn? He never does, right? He just, it's something like something so remarkable that you have the bandwidth to go again and again and again. And you have all the brain, all the technical brain to do every single technical thing, but that we do remember that you are also an actor. We do remember you acting here in Purim, and we do remember that you have also lots of joy and fun to bring to this congregation. We also remember that you know how to make ice cream, because you did it. And we also remember that you're a carpenter. There's something to fix.
Yeah.
And that...
It's fixed, it's behind me.
Oh, you should get it done. And
Put on the wall.
and that you're a carpenter, and there's something beautiful about being a carpenter that I think that makes this so relevant, and it's the appreciation of raw materials, the appreciation of wood, of materials, but also the vision to create new things with those materials. And I trust, and we trust, your leadership to take the beautiful materials that we have in our community, to take care of the things that need to be installed and fixed, and also to create new things. And I'm sure that with your leadership, TBT will discover new horizons, and you will create new things. And to symbolize that, we wanted to give you this yad. I'll show it, which is an Etz Haim yad. It's not made from wood. We couldn't find one, but it is a tree, and it's a tree of life. So we hope that your leadership will bring renewed life to you and to our congregation.
Thank you.
You can do some applause to our new president.
Well, like Ronnie, you just said half of my speech, so I'm going to keep it pretty brief. This will mostly be addressed to the incoming board. And I was involved in a discussion earlier where the discussion was really about taking joy in mitzvot, something that we regard a mitzvah as a commandment. It's something you have to do. But to take joy in it is something that you really need to do in order to sustain it. It was easy for me at the time because I had a piece of cheesecake. I know that most of the board members incoming have been on the board in various positions, sometimes the same position that they were last year. And so they know a lot about what's coming and what's going on. But as you mentioned, there are some changes. The first is a change in presidency. That happens routinely. The second is a change in rabbinical leadership, and it's not quite so routine, but it happens. We know that. And the last, of course, is that coming out of COVID. We're coming out of it. We're coming back in person to the temple. I notice we've got quite a crowd here. We had a good crowd earlier this morning in Shacharit services. But the new members of the board know that it's a tough job, and it's going to be tougher in a fair number of ways. But the way to deal with that is to take joy in this mitzvah of serving the needs of the community. And I think if we do that, we're going to find, yes, it's going to take you away from your families, from your work, from your homes, from a lot of things. But you can take joy in it, and you can bring that back to your families, to your work, and to your home. And sometimes there will be cheesecake.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You can take the gift, actually. But you can use it to read Torah. Next Shabbat morning that you read Torah, you can have the presidential yad. We'll ask you to please rise as we conclude. Besot HaTorah, Asher Sam Moshe, Livnei Bnei Yisrael. ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, שלושה דברים עולם העולם עובד. השלושה דברים, השלושה דברים, שלושה דברים העולם עובד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
El retorno de Torah to the ark. Etz Chaimim Lamachasikim ba V'tomecha Me'oshar V'racheya Darkei Olam V'chol netivoteha Shalom. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם. Return us to you, Adonai, and we will return. Renew our days as of in days of old. Help us understand that the way to return starts from our ability to recognize that it is in our hands, that it is in our hearts. Be'ashebota el levabecha. We're on page 588. Be'ashebota.
Be'ashebota
El levabecha.
el levabecha. Ki Adonai hu Elohim.
Be'ashebota
el
levabecha.
Ki Adonai
hu Elohim.
Elohim ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Seated. At the end of our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. We acknowledge those during the cycle of the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, those during the cycle of the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, those during the cycle of the first year of mourning, and so those that have a your side this week. Why you remember it, I? You're that.
My dear colleague, Cantor Sarah Lipset Allison.
Do we have any comments on YouTube, on Facebook, on Zoom?
Elaine Jacobs.
You can support our fellows by standing or sitting, join us with your voices and your hearts. On page 598 for Kaddish Avelim, Mourners Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
בעלמא דברה חילותה וימליך מלכותה. בחיי חון ומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל. בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן.
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי היה יתברך.
בשתבח, בתפאר, בתרומם, בתנשא. בתהדר, בתעלה, בתעלה, שמי קודשיו.
בריחו.
לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם בלמה, באמרו אמן.
אמן.
יש להם רבה מן שמיה, בחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן.
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן.
Amen.
And the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life. Yes, Zichram Baruch, you may be seated. Tomorrow, 10:30 a.m., breakfast is going to be served and followed by an alternative shacharit, a beautiful and alternative shacharit, and an Iskor cafe. Please join us. The service itself starts at 11 a.m. We're going to give you time because we know we're finishing a bit late tonight, so you can sleep a little bit, and then come for services at 11 a.m. or if you really want to have a great breakfast, I think it was written continental. Continental breakfast. I haven't seen that word next to breakfast for so many years. And here at TBT, we brought it back for you. So continental breakfast for those that want a continental breakfast. Thank you. So there's a song that we sometimes do to conclude services. And particularly during Shavuot is the best fit. Now, I know that many of you are not fully familiar, but this is the poem. As we, many times in Shabbat, we conclude with Adon Olam. In Shavuot, we conclude with Mi Piel. Now, if you follow the words, it's all about Torah. It's all about being able to receive Torah and our relationship and our love with Torah. So we are on page 632, and as we finish the service, we're going to have a 5-minute break, and we'll start Rabbi Asa's memorial lecture that I will have the joy and the privilege to teach this year.
Mi Piel, Mi Piel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Mi Piel, Mi Piel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. En Adir Kadonai, ve'en Baruch keven Amram. En Gedolah Katorah, ve'en Goshanea Yisrael. Mi Piel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael.
En Ador Kadonai, en Batik keben Abraham, en Saka Katorah, en Chachamea Yisrael. Mi Piel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. En Tahor Kadonai,
ve'en Yachid keven Amram. En Kavira Katorah, ve'en Lamdanea Yisrael. Mi Piel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael.
En Poder Kadonai, en Tzadik keben Abraham, en Kedoshah Katorah, en Tomcheya Yisrael.
Mi Piel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Mi Piel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael.
אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ואת עמיו בשלום. שבוע טוב וחג שמח, everyone. חג שמח.
חג שמח.
We started in 5 minutes, Rabbi Asa's memorial lecture.